Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Johngy podcast, without which life would be incomplete and have little or no meaning. I, of course, am the host, the star, your guiding light. Who else but Tommy Ellis? And joining me from Skokie, Illinois, is the man on the beat from johngysbeat.com, Mr. John Robleski.
Yes, you are indeed the wind beneath my wings.
I am. Without me,
Yeah,
you would definitely crash and burn. Definitely
yeah,
crash and burn.
I admit it.
So, how are you there, sir?
I'm good, man. How about you?
I'm good. I'm excited. We got a great guest on today.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, there she is. There she is. Uh, I, Nobody's been on the show more than she has. I believe this is her fourth time. I think it's her fourth.
At least three.
At least three, if not four, but one of them. And Regan Lydale, and she is back because she recently made what I consider to be history, at least here in the
Totally.
Chicagoland independent wrestling area, as she became the inaugural first ever women's POW champion. POW is a company that's been around, give or take 20 some years.
Yeah.
In
In two incarnations,
in
but
one
yes.
incarnation or another.
Yeah.
Always run by Jim Blaze and promoter Jim Blaze, and we both got to see Regan and Melanie Cruise. Her opponent, she fought for the title. We saw her back in the summertime in Elk Grove Village, where it was sort of a homecoming for Mel. She hasn't been working the area
Well, and her brother.
in Chicago. Yeah, her brother Stonewall was out there and worked a tag match, and so we were there for that, and it was very cool because Melanie was the first ever Resistance Pro champion, and Reagan grew up going to the Resistance Pro shows, which is partially how I ended up getting to meet her. And so for her to come to this point where we saw her, I was going to that one just because for me it was like, well, it's cool because she's getting to actually be in the ring with someone she grew up watching and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And then fast forward a few more months, and now she's fighting that same person in a street fight, no less, for for the first ever women's POW championship, and came out victorious.
Well,
And so this is
the
another,
Elk Grove match was so many weird, not weird, but so many interesting factors played into that. Like you said, Mel, and then Reagan had followed her since she was a kid. We've seen that dynamic since she was a kid, and
yeah,
then that's first time ever Mel wrestled with her brother. And it's
yeah.
probably one of the few times they've actually acknowledged each other as siblings
Well, that was the other
in,
big thing, was it
in
was
their
always a big
hometown.
secret. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
in their hometown. I mean, like there's so many things that came together in that match. I'm so glad, and we got to watch it together,
yeah.
which was really cool too, because you were closer to Reagan from before, but we both go back about as far with her, and
Sure,
it was
yeah.
cool to experience all that together.
Yeah. And then again to see her get to where she is now. But as she's been going throughout her career, we've been trying to check in on some of the more the bigger moments
Milestone.
and milestones. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. And this is one, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to check in with her, and so here we are. So let's dive in and let's catch up with your new first ever women's POW champion,
Big Hoss hippie.
Regan Lydale.
There she is, the
Hello.
champ.
There she
Hello.
is. Hey,
How
how
are
you?
you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Did you just
The
wake
champ
up or
just wake
something?
up.
I took a small nap.
Yeah. So how you doing?
Good. Preparing for Emporium today. It's me and
Yeah.
Shaza. So I'm excited. It'll be fun.
And
One-on-one with Chaza?
Oh, wait, what?
You're doing just a one-on-one match with
Yeah,
Chaza?
yeah. It's just a one-on-one with me and Shaza. Yeah.
She's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I've wrestled her a couple times before, so I'm excited.
and then you're heading to Massachusetts.
Yeah, my flight is I will have to be at O'Hare by like 3 in the morning on Saturday. So and then I have like a layover in Philadelphia, and then I'll be in Boston by like 12, I think. So
I, s- I
long
saw
day.
I saw
Philly's
your
a cool airport, though.
what, Logan?
Philly, not Boston. Will
Oh,
be
Philly. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I've never been to that
I,
airport, so we'll see.
I saw your parents are already there.
Yeah, they are. They left yesterday. They made it more of a little vacation for them.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but I'd like to be down there too early, but it's okay.
My grandmother was from Boston, so I used to go out there in the summers, and I've been out there a bunch and stuff. So it's a nice area. I know the suburbs, but I've been out to the city a lot. There's a
Oh,
lot
okay.
of it's very cool because it's very old part of the country. So you get to
Right.
see a lot of like, colonial level, buildings and stuff like that. And
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
But hopefully I get to actually explore, so we'll see.
Well, we have you here on the show because you were recently crowned the very first ever POW Women's Champion.
I was. Yes, I was.
Uh, this is a big deal for a whole bunch of different reasons. First of all, how long would you say POW has been going for there, John? I mean, it's
Well, POW or its predecessor, which I think was CCW, either way is a Jimmy Blaze production, at least 20 plus years, little
yeah,
over 20.
and in all the time of POW, they haven't had a women's title.
They've had a few women wrestle, obviously, matches. They haven't
Did
had much action, but this is the first POW women's title.
official title now. So another aspect of this is who you faced for this POW women's title, and
Yes.
that is none other than Melanie Cruise. And
A POW
Melanie,
legend.
a POW legend,
Oh, yeah.
yes, and someone, yeah. I mean, she's been a part of POW forever. Came up through POW, and she is known on a national level, but certainly known here around Chicago. And back in Resistance Pro, she was the very first Resistance Pro women's champion.
Yep.
And so I know as a kid, you got to see her wrestle.
Oh yeah.
And so here we are. And now what kind of match was it? You had a street fight?
Yeah, it was a street fight match for the championship.
So here you are. You find yourself in contention for the very first ever Power Women's Championship against Melanie Cruise, who you've grown up watching. You've worked before, but now you're going to be in a street fight with, and you go over and you win the title. Tell us about it. How did that night go down? How did it feel?
Honestly, it was like very like I don't even know because I was surprised honestly about the outcome, if you will. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
me? Like, okay. Which is very like I'm honored that it was me who was, the
yeah,
champion at the end of that. But it was a really good experience though, wrestling with her. She taught me a lot in terms of how to wrestle my size. I tend to find myself wrestling like I'm everybody else's size. So,
sure.
she helped me a lot with kind of, giving me different ideas, for matches and stuff. But we were going over the weapons that we had before the match, like to see what we can do. And there's this door, and then she's like, "Oh, like drop through the door." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, all right." That was the first time I've ever taken anything like that, and it was kind of terrifying, but also like, okay, sick. I can, I guess, cross that off the list of
It's one of those things
things.
where you
But
just you just do it. You just do it,
right,
and there's no way to really prep for it. And she is a perfect person to talk to, being because you are taller and bigger in stature and everything, and so is she. You know, she talk about someone who can fight guys. I mean,
oh for
Melanie.
sure.
Unbelievable, yes.
Melanie's a very, 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 very tough gal, and but she's exactly the type of person you'd want to get those because you're right. It's easy to fall into the habits of the way that the other girls wrestle because they're all
Right.
the same. They're all the same size. You're gonna see a lot of the same type of things get ingrained in you, but you gotta play to your strengths, and
Right. Absolutely.
so so you have the match, you go over, you got the title, here we are. And this has been a long road so far in a relatively short period of time because we do have the
For sure.
distinction and honor of having our very first interview with you before you even started training
Oh yeah.
for any of this.
Absolutely.
And now you have won titles in multiple companies now.
Multiple states.
Yeah.
Multiple, yeah.
That too.
And you're traveling again, like we said, you're gonna be going out to Boston. You've been down to Texas, I believe, right?
Yes. Yep.
And
Minnesota.
yeah,
Yeah. Went to Minnesota. Yep.
yeah. So how does it feel? I mean, like, you think back about that because I remember your first day you went to training, you got there like a couple hours early and we're just like sitting out there in the street or something waiting for people to show up.
Yeah. Oh,
You were that excited. I remember that Saturday morning.
yes.
And now, it's been a couple of years. You've gotten to work a lot of different promotions. You seem to be over pretty much everywhere you go. I haven't talked to anybody who's not big on you. And how does it feel to be not just doing it, but you're being successful,
Honestly, it's kind of surreal. I mean, you've always told me, you can go as far as essentially want to, which is true.
Hmm.
Your work that you put in definitely like shows and like pays off within the business, if you will. Um, I didn't think I was ever gonna really make it out of like the Midwest in terms of like being able to go to Texas and being able to like go to Boston and everything like that. Even Iowa too, like Iowa, Minnesota, like I don't know, I never really saw myself kind of go out of state. But my first out of state booking, I think it might have been Honor Among Wrestling, or actually I lied. I think it might have been Wisconsin for JWA. But either way, doing whatever I have been doing for the past couple of years was definitely something I never kind of saw in my future, just especially when I started wrestling because I didn't know what I
No,
could do with it, you
you
know?
don't know until you get there.
So,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, it's been a really good experience. So, being able to go, travel and everything like that, be in some carloads of people, have good memories and everything like that. I don't know where I would see myself without wrestling in that way. It does definitely play like a huge part in my life, social wise, just in general. Really, I spent so much time with it. So
Well, it becomes your life. I mean,
yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it does. I mean, it's all the time of that traveling, but then you also are meeting new people, and then you're kind of forced to spend a lot of time with them, and
Right.
sometimes in a car in a confined space for, several hours or a day or two or whatever,
Yep.
sharing hotel rooms and things like that. But those people then, I mean, you quickly build bonds with those people and get close with them. I mean, it's hard to not when you're, spending that much time
Oh,
and
absolutely.
working with
Yeah.
each other. And then getting to go out of state and it's nice in the wrestling community because you can go to another state, go to a promotion where you don't know anybody. But I mean, if there's one common language and one thread that goes across all of them, it's that you're all there to put on a show and
Oh.
you're there for your love of wrestling. And it's always fun to meet new people too. I always enjoyed like
Oh yeah.
when
Absolutely.
someone new would come into the locker room or something like that, and you never know what kind of friendships you might strike up.
Right.
So um, since you've been doing this, you've obviously made new friends and things like that. Are there any locker rooms in particular that you've really enjoyed being a part of?
Um, I would have to say, I mean,
With no disrespect to any of the other ones, but
no, yeah, I was gonna say, freelance aside, that's a bias, I guess, if you would, but
yeah, well, that's your home. That's your
yeah.
home. Yeah.
Honestly, I do really enjoy when I was in Texas. I guess to take it out of the Midwest area. When I was in Texas, and that was like my first time really like out of the Midwest.
Hmm.
I went there not knowing a single soul. I think the only person I like kind of knew at the time was Cody Lane, which I was like, oh, cool, like someone I like kind of know from freelance, but there wasn't really anybody there that I had
Yeah.
met prior to, going that I was, close friends with or anything like that. And they opened their arms to me. They were very welcoming. There's a lot more students there than I really thought. There's like 40 of them. I was really impressed. I was like, oh my goodness. But
Yeah.
it was a really good experience, and you kind of learn a lot from everybody else too. I think that was my first 8-man tag that I did when I went there.
Hmm.
And I was the only, well, I was on the heel team, but I was the only face on the team. So that was kind of a challenge for me. And they
Yeah.
helped me a lot with trying to figure out, how should I act in the ring? How should I portray this? What do I need to do? Um, so I would definitely say I really enjoyed being in the locker room at Hybrid in San Antonio. It was definitely a really good time. I'd love to go back whenever that may be, but I would have to say
Yeah.
over there was pretty good.
Well, that's cool. We did get to see you, John and I got to see you over the summer. I know John gets to see you more than I do,
Yeah.
but it was, what was it, Elk Grove Village where
Elk
they had
Grove, you
the,
were
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
yeah,
and actually, I got to tell you, I had interviewed Justin, who ran the thing, and beforehand, and he asked me about you, and I said for as young as she is so kind of not inexperienced, but the little experience you had, I said she's amazing, and so he was looking forward to it. After the show, he came up to me and he said, "You were right, man. She is the goods." So,
Thank you.
we
Yeah,
know Jimmy Blaze is really high on you.
for sure.
yeah,
Obviously, he put you in the qualifying match against Shauna to get to the title match. So obviously he has
Right.
faith in you. But yeah, but how is that working though? Like at Elk Grove, that's Melanie's hometown. And Melanie, it was sort of, I mean, Melanie's a heel, but she was sort of a face because the crowd was
she's
like,
like the hometown
yeah,
hero.
how did that work for you guys?
Um, I went there thinking that um me and Craig were actually both heels. I was wrong. I ended up being the only heel in that match, which it kind of made sense, and I understood it because Melanie was the hometown, hero, if you will. Um, and I'm wearing like this really bright colored gear. I'm like, oh gosh, like I wasn't prepared for this. Like,
Right.
not portraying heel at all. But I went out there, and I believe we came out first. Yeah, I think that would make the most sense. I came out first, and everybody's just booing you already, like, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm getting heat and I didn't even do anything. Like they know what's going on.
Well,
Um,
I was standing there at the entryway and I've never seen you play. I never saw you be a heel. And so I'm out there and I got my camera and everything and I'm like, going to get a high five and I get the stink eye from you. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, what did I do? And then I was like, oh, she's being a heel. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't expect that.
But
well, it was funny. I was,
In Fox Lake, you were kind of split with. Was it Fox Lake when you wrestled Mel again? The last time I
yeah,
saw
we
you.
were kind of like it was kind of like a tweener kind of thing, if you will.
Yeah, both of
Yeah.
you were kind of. I mean, it was a great match. You guys
Thank
pounded
you.
each other, but it was kind of weird on that respect.
For sure, yeah. When I was coming out and at Elk Grove with the first match that I had with her in that tag match, and I did see Tommy, and I was like, he doesn't know what's going on.
No.
Well, he never does.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm healed today. I was like, he's never seen that before, but he will today. So
Yeah.
That was cool though. It showed a different side of you, and you played it well.
thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
That was a very hot day too.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. It was rainy,
Well, yeah, it
gross.
rained, and nobody knew if it was going to happen, and it was,
Yeah.
yeah, crazy.
Um, so when are when are we going to get the freelance title on you? That's what I want to know. You
I
know,
have I have
I
no
mean,
idea.
this is I am campaigning hard here to get the
Thanks.
freelance title on you. I don't understand how this has not happened yet. You're a homegrown star, and I know that they're certainly very proud of you
Oh yeah.
and everything. So for any of the brass out there at freelance who might catch this, let's do something about getting that strap on
Thank you. Thank you.
On Regan Lydale already. All right, I think it's overdue. Obviously, all the other companies see a reason to put some gold on you. So, how
And you
many?
get reactions everywhere. I mean,
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah.
pow erupts when you were there.
Oh yeah. I was really surprised too. I was like, oh goodness, especially because Melanie being there. So
hmm
more
Well,
before me. So
that's what I'm saying though. I mean, like the significance of that's got to be very cool. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's and Mel is someone who is cool enough and gracious enough to appreciate passing on the torch to, especially someone like you who's kind of a little more in her image, as
for
being,
sure.
a bigger, tougher girl who can fight dudes and stuff like that. And well, I mean, I see you fighting guys more than I see you fighting
Yeah,
women. I
that's true.
mean,
Yeah,
I am I wrong? I mean, if I had to
you're
lean
definitely
one,
not.
yeah, which I think is great, and it's funny because people who don't really like follow wrestling too closely, and I tell them about you and stuff like that, they'll be like, "Oh, how'd it go?" And I'll be like, "Well, she beat this dude and whatever. She was fighting a guy." I was like,
Yeah.
"She fights more guys than she fights girls." I'm like,
Oh yeah,
she's like a foot taller than most of them, so
definitely.
But
Um,
the thing is, like a lot of the girls that fight the guys, you kind of have to stretch the believability a little bit. But for you, it's totally believable that you would, knock the crap out of some of them.
Heck yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
and the pounce is a great finisher for you too. And
Thank you.
you pull it off well,
Thank
But
and
I
you're
love the
just
kick too.
yeah, the kick's always
The
been
kick's
good.
amazing.
thank you.
And no, and I was watching a clip of one of your matches just a couple days ago, and just your fluidity has really come along too. I mean, you're just like going right right into body slams and trying new stuff, stuff I haven't seen you do and stuff. So it seems like your repertoire is growing. You're
For
more
sure.
fluid and more comfortable in there. Um, do
You
you?
know, oh, I was
Oh,
gonna say just real quick, along with Tommy's point, you do one of the best when the other wrestler's in the corner, running into him or her, whichever. You do it in one smooth motion. There's no hesitation, and that's such like I hate when the wrestlers like you could tell that they're going to stop. Yours is nice and fluid, and
Thank you.
that's a great selling point.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
how many do you have multiple championships to your name right now, or are you just holding the POW one right now? I can't keep up.
Um,
I can't keep up with. I mean, I've seen you win multiple ones, but I don't know if you've been holding them at the same time or.
yeah, so well right now I technically have three, but the one company that I do have it for, they're taking a break at the moment, but I can still count that. So it's the
No,
Defiant,
you're still the champ
it's still
there.
the
You're still the
champion.
champ there. Yeah.
The Defiant, I think it's the heavyweight champion, but it's the Defiant championship. And then the Go-Go championship for second wrestling, and then the POW women's championship.
Three titles.
Yeah.
Holding three titles right now.
Oh
Look at
yeah.
you. Look at you. And so now that you're kind of where you are you still do you still go to training?
Yes and no. A lot of like my personal like work stuff has been kind of keeping me from training a little bit. I do try to go when I can.
How often are you working shows?
Oh
Like
gosh, probably at least once or twice every weekend for sure.
so and that's why that's okay though, because if you're once you start that kind of schedule where you're working matches on the regular once or twice a week, the need for being in training isn't as much to have to go and stuff. It's when you start getting some downtime or whatever the case is that you want to keep fresh and
For
not put
sure.
on any ring rust or anything. But when you're working a regular schedule, it's good to be in there. So
I definitely would like to go back a little bit more because there's also things I always want to try, but I'm always too scared to just do it at the show. I'm like, I'd rather just do it in training.
you're better,
But
yeah. Always, if you can help it, try it first for
for
sure.
sure.
Yeah, do it. Get a crash pad. Have someone walk you through it, and try stuff there and everything. But that's also what that's also what you do during the day too. Sometimes
That's
you
true.
can work
Yeah,
things out. Sometimes you need that other person there, and sometimes your opponent helps inspire new ideas. Like you said, Melanie probably gave you some ideas as to how to
absolutely. Yeah.
present yourself and hold yourself and everything. So, well, we just wanted to check in with you because we are still watching very closely. We're very proud of you.
Thank you.
This is as far as I'm concerned, this has been a very big deal, this POW
Oh,
championship. I mean,
absolutely.
it's been a long time coming for them to just even get a championship. And
For sure.
then you are now officially a part of POW history. And POW is a company, like I said, that it is a staple and here
Look, they very
in
easily could have, Melanie very easily could have won it because she's such a legend.
hmm
Shauna Reed, your referee in that match and your upcoming opponent,
Mhm.
she's been around PAL forever. She certainly, and you beat her to get to that match.
Yeah.
She certainly is a viable candidate, but you're the champ. You're the one that came out with the belt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's crazy. Never thought it would happen.
Yeah.
Some of
And
us did.
yeah, no, yeah, I know. And Jim Blaze, I can tell, like Jim Blaze does not just, willy-nilly do stuff like that. I mean, like if he's doing that, he's putting a very, very big stamp of approval on you, and that speaks very highly of you. And I'm not surprised at all by any of this because you've had the best work ethic and the highest of enthusiasm since the beginning. So whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. Just
Thank you.
keep
I will.
doing it. You're doing good. You're winning
We're
belts.
very proud of
Thank,
you. And
thank you
Getting around,
guys.
it's
you're getting
awesome to
around
see
the
you.
country. I'm telling you, and I stand by it. I mean, you can go as far in this business as you decide because at some point you will be hearing from, AEW or NXT or something like that, and it's going to be the only reason you won't go is if you say no.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to be up to you.
Well,
But
look,
they
Kylie Ray won the WWE ID title. They
mhm,
just announced, or I just heard, Laney Luck just won it.
Yep.
I
mhm.
see no reason why you can't join
There's
that
no
crowd.
reason. No, there isn't. There really is
It's
no.
legitimate, yeah.
There's no reason. So it's going. I'm telling you, it's going to come. It's going to happen,
Just
and it
don't
will.
forget us.
I
Yeah.
Yeah,
won't. I won't. Trust me.
I got you on my wall, I mean,
Yeah, I won't forget you guys. I promise.
but yeah, we're very proud of you. Keep up the good work. Keep doing it. This is a big deal, and it's really an honor to have front row seats to see you coming up. You look
Thank
good.
you.
You look healthy, and stay that way. All right, and have
Thank you.
fun.
I will.
Have fun in your match tonight. Have fun in Boston. If you can get out even for a little bit and walk around a little, try to get out there. It's a cool place.
try the
So,
clam chowder.
I don't know about that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of.
Oh,
All
all
that.
right. Then
Let
don't
me
try
know.
the clam
Take
chowder.
me out
then
of my
Don't.
don't
comfort
then
zone.
don't do it. And then don't yeah, and then don't do it and get on a plane either.
Yeah, good point.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for being with us once again. Regan
Thank you for
Lydale,
having me.
everybody. We love you. Go
Thank
forth
you.
and be champ.
Thank you.
All
Thanks,
right.
Reagan.
Take care.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
See ya.
See ya. Regan Lydale, everybody. There she is. Like we said, I mean, we're very proud of her and everything that she's doing. She's still growing, she's still learning. And like I said, of all the people I know, you know, her being as tall as she is and the level of athleticism she has for her size and everything, I mean, her getting to learn from Melanie Cruise,
Yeah.
it's like I
Yeah.
can't think of anybody in this area, especially who'd be any better to learn from. I mean, like she is sort of like the next Melanie Cruise
Yep.
in that way at least,
Yep.
character
Well, let me
very
say
different.
this. I've talked to a bunch of the promoters like Jim Blaze at POW, Rabbi Fine at Second, a couple others I'm not going to name. They all love her. And a lot of the ones that haven't had her, it's just a matter of scheduling and they want her there and all that.
Sure.
But let me ask you, because, I know you're humble sometimes, but what does it mean for you? Because you trained her. You were the first one to really train her and get her to a level where then she went to freelance training. So what does it mean for you?
Well, and again, I like to qualify that because me training her makes it sound like I like was wrestling training her, but I was training her more as a personal trainer. But we did
Well,
talk a lot of wrestling training stuff
yeah,
along the way.
don't underestimate you. I know what you did. You talked to her about every aspect of wrestling,
Yes,
which
yes.
rounds out her whole character, her whole persona.
Well,
That's huge.
one of the things she said that I liked hearing was like how when she came out and she didn't realize she was going to be healed, that she was wearing the wrong colors and stuff like that. So like that's something that we had talked about. We would watch videos and I would put them on mute and be like, okay, so who's face, who's heel? How do you know? Why is he wearing, that outfit? What's he doing when he comes to the ring? Is he high-fiving people? Is he ignoring them? Is he, like, is he running? Is he walking? All that sort of stuff, So there was a lot of like just little minutia like that we did as we also did the physical training part. So all that aside, how do I feel about all of it? I mean, I've been nothing but proud of her um, since since that time. Since I mean, even in the middle of it, it was just she. And I know I've said this a lot and over the last few years that she's been doing it, but it was like initially I was excited for her that she had enthusiasm about it. She wanted to be in wrestling. Let's go and give it a try. But some people think they want to be in wrestling,
You
and
hear that a lot.
you're right. And it's like and what they really want is they want to be a part of pro wrestling. But do you want to be a wrestler though? Because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time spent and a lot of pain that you're going to be and in a lot of ways can be very thankless. And so as we worked together, I kept kind of trying to expose her to different parts of things to be like, just so she first of all knew what other avenues were available and to see, where is your heart in this? Is it to be a part of it or do you really want to be a wrestler? And the more we got into it and the more stuff I threw at her, not to discourage her, but to kind of help try to really define like what is it does she want, the more I realized how serious she was and how excited she was. Every time I threw something at her that I thought could potentially waver her, all it did was excite her all the more, you know. And one I go back to a lot is, at a certain point I was like, well, let's take her to go to a training session. And our good friend Bryce Benjamin was training with freelance at the time, so we headed out there for a session to watch them. And she watched, and this is like 2.5, 3 hours
I remember.
of training and seeing what they do and observing and telling her like, this is what you're going to be doing 3, 4, 5 days a week, and she, when we left there, she like couldn't wait. All it did was just get her all the more excited. And it was kind of like, I think at that point, after everything else we had already talked about and her seeing the practice, at that point, I was like, all right, she's 100,000% in. And as a trainer, just as a personal trainer, with any of my clients, anytime that I get somebody who is just totally all in on it, all you want to do is just download every last bit of advice and wisdom that you have. I only have so much, but whatever I can give her, I definitely wanted to, pass on to her because you're not wasting your time and wasting your breath on it or anything. And so to see her doing the things she's doing, like I said, hearing her make that comment, it's like it's cool that I know some of that stuck with her a little bit. So that's very cool on my part, to see. But just that she's being successful. And like I said, I just once I saw that in her, I knew, and then especially once she actually got out there in the ring and started actively wrestling and doing it, yeah, I was just like, she's going to get that call. It's going to happen at some point. So the only one who can stop her is her. So just like I said, as long as she just keeps doing what she's doing, she's got the look, she's got the attitude, she's got incredible work ethic. And I've never heard a complaint about her in any way, shape, or form from fans, other wrestlers or workers, promoters, nothing
Agreed.
but nothing but good things from everybody. And While Bryce isn't on social media as much, I do keep him apprised as to all of her progress, and he's very proud of her too. And he was especially proud of her to hear about the POW championship, because he also is, as a guy who's been around the Chicagoland area for 20 some years, for over 20 years, understands the significance of what a big deal it is that POW finally created a championship for women, let alone put it on her as the inaugural champ. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Well, I think one of the minor tests, at least in my eyes, of her way back when, I think it was after or we did an interview shortly after this. I believe she was coming off concussion. She had
Yeah.
an arm injury, and that was kind of like a test. Is she
Hmm.
going to come back strong? Is she going to come back as dedicated? She came back stronger, more dedicated, more passionate, and like she is so late. She's always been so laser focused on it. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you. It just seemed like a matter of time before she started getting everything.
Hmm.
And like you as well, I think the WWE ID title is certainly going to happen at some point.
Well, and they obviously have their eyes on freelance. They've already pulled a few people from there. So, again, I would like to see that freelance title on her. I think she's overdue to get another opportunity for it. She's had a couple opportunities. She's been put up against some good talent like Storm Grayson, but I think that there's going to be a day, and hopefully it's soon, when she's holding up that freelance title. And the reason I put so much emphasis on the freelance title is simply because that's where she was homegrown out of.
Yeah.
That's where she came up. That's where she spent the majority of her training. They're the ones who, helped shape her into who she is, as a wrestler, and gave her the opportunities when she was first getting started. And she's a great representative and ambassador for the company. So, get a strap on that girl
It
already.
would only make sense. It really, really would only make sense for her to win
And
that
don't get
title.
a strap, get the strap. She deserves
Yeah.
it. So, but
But now
yeah.
she's got a feud at POW with Shauna that just started.
Hmm.
Um, I will not be at the first match, which is in December, whatever the first Saturday in December is. That'll be her first title defense against Shauna.
And the fact that she's traveling, you're talking, going all the way to Texas in one
Yeah,
direction and then going all the way to Massachusetts in the other. That's great. It's good exposure. The fact that they want you,
yeah.
to have you come out and share your flavor with them and everything. That's great. That's
You know,
great.
I,
She's I believe only 22 right now.
I was just going to ask that too. But like I said, I talked to a lot of the wrestlers too. Like from POW, from Second, from Rocket Pro. They all know about her, and
Hmm.
whenever they see her, she exceeds their expectations.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about the reaction that she gets from the fans, from the wrestlers, and the promoters.
And that's a very cool thing for me to get to see too. Is and when I've been to the live events that she's at, to hear the pop when she comes out. Everyone knows her entrance music. People are up for it. And I know I've said it before in the past, probably in every interview that we've ever done with her, but I will forever and forever give props to her parents for being as supportive
Yep,
and definitely truly honestly being her number one fans,
yep,
her mother especially. But because like I said, they're already in Massachusetts right
yeah.
now. uh i mean I mean, not a lot of parents will make the trip to go see their kid do a show, somewhere or something. But that's it's to have that support in her corner. That's huge. There's so many wrestlers who, like, their parents and their families are just not backing them. They just think it's a
Yeah.
pipe dream. And granted, she gives people reason to believe that she's got a future in this, but
But that
still.
was, but they were supporting her well before she
Well,
even
yeah,
took off.
from day. Well, they were supportive of her to the point where they were willing to hire me to get her started to even begin doing it in the first
Yeah.
place. Uh, so yeah, so God bless to her folks as well.
But
So
can you imagine, in Fox Lake, like a month ago, or whatever, I think that was only her second match in POW because she had the one that we attended, and then this
yeah,
one was the rematch against Mel. And they split the crowd, and so it was like the crowd was cheering both, which
yeah,
is really kind of cool. It was almost like like there were two faces, and for her to have built up that type of resume or appreciation from the crowd in that short of a time against Mel.
yeah.
We keep stressing it, but Mel is a POW legend, and for her
And
to build it, it's amazing.
and the other thing is that we hadn't seen Mel in a long time either. So it was a big deal for Mel to be in these matches to begin with.
Yeah,
Um,
in her
because
hometown.
right, she's been yeah, I mean like she's been laying low on the wrestling scene for a while.
Well, she
And
wrestles a little bit in Wisconsin.
yeah, but I mean but for her to come back
Yeah,
and then, that her coming back is a big deal.
right.
And then for Reagan to get to work these matches and again learn from her firsthand, it's invaluable. It gives her a huge push, and good for Mel for being there for her and passing that on.
Well, that's a
So
good point too. I'm sure Mel has enough stroke with Jim Blaze that she could have poo-pooed the idea of wrestling,
sure,
Reagan.
yeah,
You know, so kudos to Mel, and again, kudos to Reagan for achieving that,
yeah.
and
Well,
kudos to you, even though you'll be humble. So one of the
well,
few times I'll really applaud you.
yeah. I was just a tiny part of the whole thing.
It's all
So,
right. Hey,
but
snowball. It starts with a little.
but I will forever be a fan and follow her, and I fully expect to see her on national television in some promotion or another.
Then
So
they'll be coming to us for the interviews that we got with her.
yeah, when they go to make that best of
Documentary.
collection, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have the first yeah, then we'll finally make some money on this thing. So all right, well. With all that said, thanks again to Reagan for coming on. And as always, for the John G. Earls podcast, I, of course, have been who else but Tommy Ellis. And with me from Skokie, Illinois, is the man on the beat, the big haired hippie,
Okay.
Mr. John Rodleski.